Welcome back. Let us see now for quadratic equations exercise 2.7. The first sum is one quadratic equation is given, that is kx square minus 5x plus 2. Kx square minus 5x plus 2 equal to 0. This quadratic equation is given and they say that one of the root of this quadratic equation is 4 times other. Now let us see how to solve this equation. First of all, we have to write down a is equal to k, b is equal to minus 5 and c is equal to 2. This is given. Also alpha is equal to 4 times beta. These two things are given. Now we know alpha plus beta and alpha beta by formulas. Now I'll just write it down here. Alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a and alpha beta is equal to c upon a. Let us solve this example. These two are given. A is equal to k, b is equal to minus 5, c is equal to 2 and alpha is equal to 4 times beta. Now we have alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a. Hence, I will substitute here 4 beta plus beta is equal to minus b. So, minus of minus is plus 5 upon k. So, we get 5 beta is equal to 5 upon k. Hence, beta is equal to 1 upon k. Now we can substitute this beta and find out the value of alpha. Again we have, let us substitute this. So alpha is equal to 4 upon k. This is the value we get from here. Beta is 1 upon k, so alpha is equal to 4 upon k. Now let us take alpha beta. Alpha beta is equal to c upon a. So this is alpha, this is beta. So we have 4 upon k into 1 upon k equal to c upon a. C is 2 and a is k. So 1k will get cancelled. Let us transfer this k here and 2 here. So k will be equal to 4 upon 2, that is 2. In this way we get the value of k is 2. Remember, at the end of the example you have to write the answer. At the end of example you have to write the proper answer. K is equal to 2. Just mark it properly. So is your example. Okay. Let us solve next example. Let us solve second example of 2.7. Here we are given one quadratic equation, x square plus kx plus 40. X square plus kx plus 40 equal to 0. In this case we have to find the value of k. The given is the roots of this quadratic equation are in the ratio 2:5. Let us see. If the roots of this quadratic equation are in the ratio 2:5, that means and we have a equal to 1, B equal to K and C equal to 40. These two things are given. So let us proceed. So we will take that alpha is equal to 2m and beta is equal to 5m. Now as we know, alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a. So 2m plus 5m is equal to minus k, because a is 1. So we have 7m is equal to minus k, m is equal to minus k by 7. Now we have alpha beta, that is alpha beta is equal to c upon a. So we have 2m into 5m, that is 10m square is equal to c, that is 40 upon a. A is 1, no need to take. So m square is equal to 40 upon 10, that is equal to 4. So m is equal to plus minus 2, and we also know that m is equal to minus k upon 7. So let us make use of this relation here, and we say that plus minus 2 is equal to minus k upon 7. So minus k is equal to plus minus 14. So k is equal to plus minus 14. So the value of k can be 14 or minus 14, that you have to write. So k is equal to 14 or k is equal to minus 14. The answer you have to write like this. So these kind of examples are very simple. You know alpha plus beta, you know alpha beta. One more relation will be given here, maybe multiples of this or ratio of this or square of this, whatever it is. So you get 3 equations, and from that you are going to find the value of k, which is missing here. Okay, let us see one more example. Find k if one of the roots of quadratic equation is 3. They are given one quadratic equation, kx square minus 7x plus 12 equal to 0, and they say that one of the root of this quadratic equation is 3. How you will do this? If one of the root of this quadratic equation 3 is 3, then this quadratic equation must satisfy that value. That means if you substitute x equal to 3 in this quadratic equation, it must be true. So let us substitute the value of x, that is x equal to 3, into given quadratic equation, and it must satisfy this quadratic equation. Okay, so we get k into 3 square minus 7 into 3 plus 12 equal to 0, and hence we get 9k minus 21 plus 12 equal to 0, and hence we get 9k minus 9 equal to 0. Hence k is equal to, this minus 9 will go that side, become 9, and this 9 is a multiplier here, it will go as a divisor, so it will be 9 upon 9. Hence k is equal to 1. This is the answer of this problem. Now in this case it is not necessary प्रत्येक वेळेला ए बी सीचा वापर करूनच करायला पाहिजे असं नाही आहे. तर तुम्हाला बघायचं आहे की त्यांनी कंडिशन काय दिली आहे. इफ द कंडिशन इज गिवन समथिंग लाईक दिस, इफ वन रूट इज डायरेक्टली गिवन There is no condition like that both the roots are in the multiple of each other 4 times, one root is 4 times other, or both the roots are in the ratio 2:5. At that time you have to find out the alpha plus beta and so on. पण ज्या वेळेला डायरेक्टली एक रूट दिलेला आहे त्याने आणि वी नो दॅट द रूट व्हॅल्यू मस्ट सॅटिस्फाय दॅट इक्वेशन, so the problem becomes easy. Okay, let us see the fourth problem. If the roots of quadratic equation is given, this is the fourth problem of 2.7, x square plus px plus q, x square plus px plus q equal to 0. If the roots are this quadratic equation differ by 1, prove that p square is equal to 1 plus 4q. P square is equal to 1 plus 4q. We have to prove this. The given condition is alpha minus beta. These are the two roots. Alpha minus beta is equal to 1. We have to prove this. This is given, and also we know that a is equal to 1, b is equal to p, and c is equal to q. So let us solve this example. So first of all we will find out alpha plus beta and alpha beta. Okay, but how you will find this? What is the use of this? What is the use of this? Alpha minus beta. Let us first find out alpha plus beta and alpha beta. So alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a, so it is minus p upon 1, so no need to write 1, so it is minus p, and alpha beta is equal to c upon a, that is q. Okay, now how you will prove this? Let us see. Now suppose if I take alpha plus beta bracket square. Now alpha plus beta bracket square, we know that it is alpha beta. Now alpha plus beta bracket square, we know it is alpha square plus 2 alpha beta plus beta square. But suppose, can this be equal to alpha minus beta bracket square? Can this be equal to? Right now it is not. But if I subtract something from here, it will become equal. How? Here it is, middle term is 2 alpha beta. Here the middle term will be 2 alpha minus 2 alpha beta. Now just tell me, can these two be equal? No, it will not. See, alpha square plus beta square is on this side also and on the right hand side also. But here the middle term is 2 alpha beta. Here the middle term is minus 2 alpha beta. To make it 2 alpha beta, what I will have to do? I will have to add plus 4 alpha beta. If I add plus 4 alpha beta on this side, now this is the equality, right? Now in this case, we know that alpha plus beta is minus p square. We know that alpha minus beta is 1 square, and we know that 4 into alpha beta is q. So here I will get p square is equal to 1 plus 4q. Proved. This is our required equation. Understood? So always remember that it is not always possible to just take a left hand side. So always remember, it is not possible to take just a left hand side and come to the right hand side. Sometimes we have to use different equations and come to conclusion, that is what are being asked. So let us see next example. Let us solve the fifth example now. In fifth example, they are given one quadratic equation, that is 4x square plus 8kx plus k plus 9 equal to 0. And the problem is, find the value of k if the sum of the roots of this quadratic equation is equal to their products. That means the given is alpha plus beta is equal to alpha beta. The sum of the roots is equal to their product. Okay. Now here we know that A is equal to 4, B is equal to 8k and C is equal to k plus 9. Mind well, B is always the linear coefficient, that is 8k, and this whole term becomes C. Now we have the equation. Can we substitute in that? We have alpha plus beta is equal to minus B upon A is equal to C upon A. So here we get minus 8k upon 4 is equal to k plus 9 upon 4. So we get minus 8k is equal to k plus 9. 4 will get cancelled. So here k will be transferred here. So we will get minus 9k equal to 9. So k will be equal to 9 upon minus 9, that is minus 1. This is our answer for problem number 5. This is somewhat easy problem. You have to just take care what is given. If you write this given equation wrong, then your sum will go wrong. So be careful while writing what has been given. Then the rest of the things are very easy. Okay. So now let's go for the sixth example. If the alpha and beta are the roots of the equation, the quadratic equation is given, find alpha square plus beta square and find alpha upon beta and beta upon alpha plus beta upon alpha. We have solved a similar example, but let's discuss this also. The given quadratic equation is x square minus 5x plus 6. Example number 6, x square minus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. Alpha and beta are the roots. We have to find the values of alpha square plus beta square, and secondly we have to find the value of alpha upon beta plus beta upon alpha. We have solved exactly similar example, and now pause the video, solve this example. Let us check it. Let us do it. Now here we know that A is equal to 1, B is equal to minus 5, C is equal to 6. Let us find first alpha plus beta and alpha beta. Alpha plus beta is equal to minus B upon A, which is equal to 5, and alpha beta is equal to C upon A is equal to 6. So now we have got alpha plus beta and alpha beta. Now what to do? We have to prove this. Now what shall we do? Now alpha square plus beta square is equal to, how we will get alpha square plus beta square? If we open the bracket of alpha plus beta bracket square, if we expand that, what we will get? Alpha square plus 2 alpha beta plus beta square, right? मग आता याच्यात काय करायला हवं आपल्याला, जे 2 alpha beta एक्सेस आहे त्याच्यामध्ये ते डिलीट करायला हवेत. ते कसे डिलीट करणार, we will subtract minus 2 alpha beta. So this will be equal to alpha plus beta bracket square minus 2 alpha beta. बरोबर. So both the sides are equal. So this will be equal to, what is alpha plus beta is 5. So we get 5 square minus 2 into 6. So here we have 25 minus 12, that is 13. So we have proved we have found out the value of the first value 13. Now we'll find out the second value, that is alpha upon beta plus beta upon alpha. This will be equal to what? Now we'll cross multiply alpha square plus beta square upon alpha beta. So this will be alpha square plus beta square upon alpha beta, which will be equal to, just now we have found out the value of alpha square plus beta square. It is 13. And what is alpha beta? Here 6. So this is 6. As a final answer, you have to write again alpha's answer, alpha square plus beta square is equal to 13. Answer 2, alpha upon beta plus beta upon alpha is equal to 13 by 6. You have to write both the answers at the bottom and finish the problem. Let us see the last example of 2.7. Okay. Example 7th is, they are given one quadratic equation, kx square minus 20x plus 34 minus 20x plus 34 equal to 0. What they say? If one root of this quadratic equation is If one root of this quadratic equation is 5 minus 2 root 2, find the value of k. Now we know that if this is the root, by substituting x equal to 5 minus 2 root 2, this equation must satisfy, right? So this is very simple. You have to just substitute 5 minus 2 root 2 instead of x and find the value of k. Pause the video and do it. Okay. Now you must have substituted this into this and could have found the value of k. Fine. 5 square, that is a minus b bracket square into this. Okay. This is the longer calculation. But you must have understood one thing, that if this is one root, the another root must be the conjugate. That is, if alpha is this 5 minus 2 root 2, then beta must be 5 plus 2 root 2. We have solved such example before. This is exactly similar example, and you can make use of this conjugates. And so if we take alpha plus alpha beta, if you take alpha beta is equal to c upon a, what you will get? Alpha beta is 5 minus 2 root 2 into 5 plus 2 root 2 equal to c is 34 upon a is k. I have not even made use of this b. No use, no need to do it. What we'll get? This is just like a plus b, a minus b, or a minus b, a plus b. So this is equal to a square minus b square. So here we get 5 square. So we get 5 square minus 2 root 2. Square of what is square of 2 root 2? Root 2 square is 2. 2 square is 4. It is 8 equal to 34 upon k. What is this? 25 minus 8 is 17 is equal to 34 upon k. So k is equal to 34 upon 17, that is equal to 2. So k is equal to 2. Very simple. Shall we try to solve this example by the method I told you, that one root is this, then this must satisfy this. This will give you practice of your arithmetical calculations. Let us check if we get the value of k is 2. Let us do that. Let us try that. Let us substitute this instead of x. So we get k 5 minus 2 root 2 square minus 20 into 5 minus 2 root 2 plus 34 equal to 0. So by expanding this bracket, we will get k into 25 minus 20 root 2 plus 8, right? Minus 20 into 5, we have, plus we get 40 root 2 plus 34 equal to 0, right? So now we have 25k minus 20k root 2 plus 8k minus 100 plus 40 root 2 plus 34 equal to 0. Now $25k plus 8k is 33k minus 20k root 2. Now minus 100 and 34 is 66, minus 66 plus 40 root 2 equal to 0. Can you see? Unnecessary, this equation is going long and long. Still let us finish this. Okay. Now we have root 2 and root 2 here, but 40 and k, we cannot do anything here. So what to do in this case? We can multiply the whole equation by root 2. So we can get here 33k root 2 minus root 2 into root 2, that is minus 40k minus 66 root 2 plus 80. Now again the problem is same, and you have to do the long calculations. Again, this can be solved, but this is beyond your portion. Hello friends, now in this next topic we are going in reverse order. आत्तापर्यंत आपल्याला क्वाड्रॅटिक इक्वेशन दिलेली होती, जिथे आपण वेगवेगळ्या मेथड्सनी सॉल्व केली आणि रूट्स काढले. आता आपण बघूया की जर का रूट्स दिलेले असतील तर क्वाड्रॅटिक इक्वेशन कसं बनवायचं त्याच्यावरून. सो नाउ विल सी टू फॉर्म quadratic equation if roots are given. We know that for the quadratic equation roots are alpha and beta. So x is equal to alpha or x is equal to beta. Now when x is equal to alpha and x is equal to beta, obviously x minus alpha is equal to 0. and x minus beta is equal to 0. When we multiply this from these two equations, we will get x minus alpha, x minus beta is equal to 0. Why? Because if either of one bracket is 0, then obviously their product will become 0. So now let us solve this example, or open this bracket. So we have x square. Can you solve this? Very simple. Try it. Pause your video and try this. Anyway, I will solve this for you. So we have x square minus alpha plus beta into x plus alpha beta equal to 0. Is it not quadratic equation? So if the two roots are given, how you will form the quadratic equation? First term will be x square minus x, and coefficient of x is sum of the roots, plus what is the c? Product of the roots. That means if you have two roots are given, some values, maybe 1 and 2 or something, can you find out the equation, quadratic equation from it? Let us see a few examples for this. I will write this on the top somewhere. Let us say that x square minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha beta is equal to 0. So we have to find the sum of the roots and product of the root. If the roots of the quadratic equations are 6 and 7, find the quadratic equation. If the roots means alpha is equal to 6 and beta is equal to 7, can you find the quadratic equation? It is very easy. Find first alpha plus beta, then alpha beta, and rearrange in this form. That's all, finished. So what is alpha plus beta? (13). What is alpha beta? 42. So what the equation is? X square minus 13x plus 42 equal to 0. This is your required quadratic equation. Let us see one more. Here it says that if one of the roots of quadratic equation means alpha is equal to 2 minus root 5, 2 minus root 5, find a quadratic equation with rational coefficients. If the quadratic equation with the rational coefficients are there, then you must have understood that another root we automatically have, that is the conjugate of this. So the beta will be equal to 2 plus root 5, isn't it? So now can you find alpha plus beta and alpha beta? Pause your video here and find out alpha plus beta and alpha beta, both the values. Do it. Let us solve this. Alpha plus beta is equal to 2 minus root 5 plus 2 plus root 5 equal to plus root 5 minus root 5 get cancelled. You have 4, and alpha beta we have 2 minus root 5, 2 plus root 5. Is it not like a minus b, a plus b? So a square minus b square. So we have 4 minus 5, that is minus 1. Now you have alpha plus beta, you have alpha beta. Here is a format, that is x square minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha beta. So the required equation, quadratic equation, is x square minus 4x minus 1 equal to 0. This is your answer. This is very simple. Let us see one more example for this. Now example is, if alpha plus beta is equal to phi. Now here alpha plus beta is given is equal to phi, and alpha square plus beta square is also given. Alpha square plus beta square is equal to 53. They say that find quadratic equation whose roots are alpha and beta. Now how you will solve this? We have this formula, but in this case alpha plus beta is given, alpha square plus beta square is given, but alpha beta is not given. Alpha beta आपल्याला फाइंड आउट करायचं आहे, ते दिलेलं नाही आहे. ह्या गिवन इन्फॉर्मेशन वरून आपल्याला अल्फा बीटा फाइंड आउट करायचं आहे. कसं फाइंड आउट करणार? कॅन यू ट्राय दिस? Do you remember one formula that alpha square plus beta square बरोबर काय होतं? Alpha square plus beta square is equal to alpha plus beta square minus 2 alpha beta. Do you remember this? आता याच्यामध्ये ही व्हॅल्यू माहिती आहे, ही व्हॅल्यू माहिती आहे, ही व्हॅल्यू अननोन आहे. सो कॅन वी फाइंड alpha beta from this? Definitely. Let us substitute the values. So 53 is equal to alpha plus beta square. Alpha plus beta is given, that is phi. Phi square is 25 minus 2 alpha beta. I want to find the value of alpha beta. Okay, so I'll shift everything. So 2 alpha beta is equal to 25 minus 53. So alpha beta is minus 28 upon 2. So alpha beta is equal to minus 14. So now you have alpha beta, you have alpha plus beta. So quickly formulate this equation. Pause your video and do it. Okay, it's very easy. So we have equation x square, we have equation x square minus alpha plus beta is 5x and alpha beta is minus 14 equal to 0. So this is our required equation. It's very simple. Let's see one more example. Now till now we have made use of the identities like alpha plus beta bracket square is equal to alpha square plus 2 alpha beta plus beta square. Okay, we have made use of alpha square plus beta square is equal to alpha plus beta bracket square minus 2ab. That means we have used the identities involving squares. Now we will see one example where cube is involved. Okay, I don't know how many of you remember a plus b bracket cube expansion or a minus b bracket cube expansion. Do you remember? Pause your video and write down a plus b bracket cube and a minus b bracket cube expansions. So how many of you remembered? किती जणांनी a plus b bracket cube आणि a minus b bracket cube लिहू शकले? For your kind information, आता मी तुम्हाला दाखवतो. Always keep these formulas handy. Write these formulas in your notebook. A plus b bracket cube is a cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square plus b cube, and a minus b cube is equal to a cube minus 3a square b plus 3ab square minus b cube. कदाचित हे तुम्हाला लागणार नाहीत आत्ता, SSCला कदाचित हे फॉर्म्युला लागणार नाहीत, पण हे आपल्याला नेहमीच माहिती असले पाहिजे. ब्रॅकेट स्क्वेअर, ब्रॅकेट क्यूब नेहमी माहिती असले पाहिजेत. आपण बघितलं होतं की a स्क्वेअर प्लस b स्क्वेअर कधी आलं तर काय करायचं? किंवा ए स्क्वेअर मायनस बी स्क्वेअर कधी आलं तर काय करायचं. जस्ट आता फॉर्म्युला आपण लिहितोय तर हे पण तुमच्या नोटबुकमध्ये लिहून ठेवा. एक्स क्यूब मायनस वाय क्यूब इज इक्वल टू, just write it down, x minus y cube plus 3xy x minus y. Just write it down. आणि जर का कधी x cube plus y cube आलं तर it is x plus y cube minus this minus 3xy x plus y. हे दोन्ही फॉर्म्युले इम्पॉर्टंट आहेत, ते लिहून ठेवा. लेट अस pause your video and write down these formulas in your notebook. Let us do it. Let us do one example based on cube. The example is alpha plus beta is equal to 5. Alpha plus beta is equal to 5 and alpha cube plus beta cube is equal to 35. Alpha cube plus beta cube is equal to 35. And we have to find out the quadratic equations whose roots are alpha and beta. How you will do this? We should know this alpha plus beta and alpha beta. Alpha plus beta आपल्याला माहिती आहे. Alpha beta आपल्याला माहित नाही आहे, जो आपल्याला काढायचा आहे. So we'll use one of our formula, alpha cube plus beta cube is equal to alpha plus beta cube minus 3 alpha beta alpha plus beta. We have to make use of this formula and find the values of alpha beta. Because this is known, just substitute. So this is 35. Alpha plus beta we know it is 5 cube is 125 minus 3 alpha beta into 5. So here we get 125, or we'll just bring 3 alpha beta into 5 here. So we have 15 alpha beta is equal to 125 minus 35. So alpha beta 125 minus 35 is 90 upon this 15 equal to we get 6. So now we have got the value of alpha beta as 6 and value of alpha plus beta is already known, it is given is 5. So now quickly formulate the quadratic equation with the roots alpha and beta. Very easy. It will be x square minus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. You have to write down this answer just as answer is x square minus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. So let us go and solve the exercise 2.8. Now again in exercise 2.8 the first part is very easy. Two just values are given, alpha and beta, and you have to find the quadratic equation. I am not going to solve this, I will just show you and tell you the answer of it. Okay, some examples I will solve like conjugate roots and some of the tricky examples like this. So be prepared to solve exercise 2.8. Thank you.